What's going on, boys, girls, ladies, and gentlemen all across the world? So today we're going to be discussing uh, the United States is on the brink of war with China. So that's going to be today's podcast. I just looked up a couple of things. Like, there's three things in the news today that's really struggling. Or really two things, I guess. Three, if you, yeah, there's three things. One is about North Korea. So, we've run on our mouth to North Korea, and they're running their mouth back, and it's just two bulldogs barking at one another, but there's a big fence in the way. Right now, North Korea claims they have nuclear power. So I'm getting my research on my phone here. So some news reporter is saying that if we were to attack North Korea, it would not the outcome would not be what we think, meaning we would not win the war. North Korea would. Stating that Kim Jong-un would weigh his basically stating that can't find my words today, folks. Basically, the article is stating that if we attack North Korea, Kim Jong Un would would weigh his options and would strike back with nuclear power on either a U.S. territory, South Korea, or Japan, and that we do not have a U.S. nuclear capable bombers present in Korea, South Korea, or Japan, meaning that a lot of innocent American lives would be lost. But I think that would be extremely difficult for him to do, because Japan can defend themselves. South Korea, they can defend themselves, but we would have to back them up, I feel. But you gotta stop and think that if something was to happen, we would have to have the UN's permission to attack North Korea first. First of all, we, the United States, would have to have the UN's permission to attack. So that way we know who all is backing us up. Now, inside the UN, you have China. China is a leading trade. They have a high trade with North Korea. So the next news post is United States Navy bolting laser weapon onto lead warship for futuristic warfare. That's the title. It says the U.S. Navy will mount a laser weapon onto a top-class warship, defense officials confirmed. And it's basically going on saying top Navy officials said the device is slated to be installed on the USS Portland by this autumn. Crucially, the prototype will not be used in combat, but may pave the way for high-tech lasers that will be used during warfare. Some guy just talking. Blah, blah, blah. The ship's going to go use the thing, and then we'll start talking about how do you make this part of the ship's total system. But for now, it's a bolt-on. It's designed to be a temporary thing. So basically, it's just a prototype. And then it continues to say, the U.S. has pumped billions into its military and navy over fears it could go to war with China. U.S.-China relations, Boffin Zhang Yanqing said the country's tense relationship risks throwing the world into a harrowing nuclear conflict, meaning that the end of the world is closer than we seem, or than what we thought. He said a key issue for 2018 is whether we can avoid international conflicts and confrontations, meaning North Korea, and the relationships between China and the U.S. will largely decide if the world can move past the current globalization interlude. So basically what I'm getting from that is what I'm getting from that is that China has been defending North Korea through their nuclear testings and things like that. And they're the only country in the UN that's defended North Korea. And America, the United States, has attacked North Korea verbally and through the UN and all of that horribly. And China has been defending them, so our president and the Chinese president has had a few words. Trump, age 71, will undergo his first presidential physical examination at the Walter Reed Medical Center in Maryland later today. That's not big news. So what, he's 71. What, do you think he's senile or something? He probably is, to be honest. Putin puts nail in North Korea's coffin with shock move. So now we have Russia, who's striking, I guess you could say, against North Korea. So right now, that laser weapon, we don't really know what it's about or what it could do. All it says is it's a laser weapon, a laser guided system. That could mean anything. You know, I want to know what type of bullet it's shooting, like what type of rocket or whatever it's shooting out of it and stuff like that. But as far as it's, excuse me, as far as the China-America uproar goes, you know, it's kind of like the Cuban Missile Crisis right now, because China, we know for a fact, has the capability of sending a nuke to American soil. They have the capability. They also are more high-tech than we are, meaning like phones and stuff. Most of it comes from Japan, but China's very good into that stuff as well. So they're more high-tech than we are. Now, do I think we could beat China in a war? I don't know. Their population has dropped quite a bit here lately, and ours is increasing quite a bit. So, you know, if we went to war with China, I believe the draft system would be put in place, because we would have to have a bigger military than what we have now. We'd be drafting 17-year-olds probably, to be honest with you, if it came down to that point. You know, it's just, crazy, 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 crazy to think that our number one trading producer is China. So to think that we could go to war with our number one trade producer is crazy. Most of our jobs have left the United States and went to China. That's another thing that I think China's getting mad about, is that Donald Trump is trying to bring those jobs back to American soil. He's trying to get those jobs back in America, which is awesome for us. You know, it could help out a lot of people. It would bring our unemployment rate down. But that would make China's unemployment rate increase. So in the long run, yes, it would screw over China, but it would better our country. So do I think we should do it? Yes. Yes, I do think we should do it. I do believe we should bring all of our American jobs back to American soil so that way our unemployment rate decreases. Now, do I feel like China should be mad about that? No, I don't. They don't have a reason to be. They're our jobs to begin with. They stole them away from us. So if anybody should be pissed off, it should be us. I mean, if they can't do that job without it, the way I'm looking at it is, they had to steal it away from us. Why couldn't they do it without us? If they can do it with us, why can't they do it without us? Right? There's a lot of Chinese people that could manufacture goods that we manufacture, you know. A lot of our factories are actually Japanese now, which is crazy. It's crazy. You're working in a factory, you're working for the Japanese or the Chinese, one of the two. 9 times out of 10. You might find a white guy here and there that owns a factory. That's a little bit racist. So let me rephrase that. You might find a American that owns a factory. Any race. I didn't, you know what I mean. My bad. But, yeah, so it's crazy to think that we could possibly be going to war with China, though, and they're our number one trade producer. If we continue to piss them off, you know, they could shut our trade off like that. Now, that would bring our jobs back in a heartbeat. But if they shut our trade off like that, then the United States, you gotta think, the United States would go bankrupt. We owe them like 80% of our deficit is owed to China. So, you gotta think, where are we gonna come up with that money to give them that would be valuable? You know, we don't even have enough gold in the United States to give to China for our deficit. And if we give them our gold, then we don't have anything that would make our money worth anything. Our money would be worthless then, and which is basically worthless now, but man, it's like we need to get some mines going, getting some damn diamonds out of the dirt and some gold out of the dirt and silver out of the dirt. Stuff that actually costs money. So that way we can increase our profits or go something, get some oil or something. Petroleum. We need to have something that can staple out our economy if we ever did have a problem with China where they shut us off. Now, we're Americans. We can survive off the land. We've been proven. It's proven we can do that in the history books. We was, you know, if you're not Native American, I am. I'm part Native American, so, but if you're not, you was taught by the Native Americans to live off the land. So living off the land is always a possibility, but in today's society, there's so many people that don't know what to do. They would be relying on the working farmer. Let's go back to the revolutionary time periods where we chased Britain, the redcoats, out of here. Our forefathers, they were taught by Native Americans how to live off the land. Hope you guys can hear me right now. Water pump's running. But they brewed beer and whiskey and all of that stuff back then, and that's what most of their trade was. We don't really have that anymore, because every country's manufacturing their own. I mean, they like our stuff because we perfect it, but all else, what we need to bring back is we need to bring back hemp farms. We need to legalize marijuana in all 50 states and bring back marijuana. And then we could have a high trade with countries that have marijuana legalized. And if we legalize marijuana in all 50 states, we could get rid of opioids, which is a huge addiction here where I live. Opioids are a huge problem. We're having a lot of fentanyl deaths, overdoses. That'll be another podcast for another day, but right now we're talking about China and the U.S. and what could happen. Do I think China would launch a nuclear missile? No. I don't believe they would, because they would want our property. They wouldn't want to have to wait a really long time for the nuclear fallout to clear before they got our property. They would want our property as soon as they took one. So what do I think would happen? I think they would send a Navy fleet over first to test us, and then strike U.S. soil. That's what I think they would do. I don't think they would launch a nuclear bomb simply because it would hurt the atmosphere, which would hurt them in the long run. If anyone launches a nuclear bomb, it's going to hurt every single continent, every single country, every single state, every little piece of property on the planet of the Earth would be hurt by that nuclear bomb because it would hurt our atmosphere. Our atmosphere is so unstable these days. Anyways, guys, I think I'm going to end the podcast right here. If you liked it, leave a like down below. And I'll be having more podcasts coming your way. We're going to be doing about 2 to 3 videos per week on all 3 of my channels. I have 3 channels. Excuse me. I think I need some of this Country Boy Crunk juice right here. Man, but if you liked it, leave a like down below, and we're going to be filming 2 to 3 videos per week. I have 3 channels. I have my reaction video channel, my main channel, which will have my daily vlogs and outdoors content on it, and then we have this one, which is based around music, the podcast, like Talking Guns and stuff like that podcast, and third would be comedy. I can't stop. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get off here. I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and I think I'll only have a podcast once a week, but there will be 2 to 3 videos per week posted. But the podcast, I believe, will be once a week. I need to set a day for the podcast. Like, I'll record it one day and then upload it the next. I need to set that. Probably do it on Thursday and then upload it on Friday, maybe. That's what I'm thinking. You guys give me your input on that. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time here at Talking Guns Podcast.